he's got supporters. Detroit, New York, Los Angeles, inciting large-scale arrests and sympathy marches.
I'm very aware of that, Mr. Hoover. What I do know is he's nonviolent. What I need to know right now, what's Martin Luther King about to do next?
Mr. President, Dr. King is here.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut, where we return once again to the thorny issue of the Oscars. If you saw my roundup of 2014 on the BBC News channel, you know that I thought 2014 was actually a terrific year. There were some great movies, some really, really good films released. Films like Frank and Belle and The Babadook, none of which are featuring in the forthcoming Oscars. However, the headlines have been grabbed by the accusations that this year's Oscar nominations are whitewashed. This has started largely because of the absence of a nomination for David Oyelowo for his role in Selma, and the absence of a nomination for Ava DuVernay, the director of Selma, although the movie itself is nominated for Best Picture. People have looked at the nominations and said, look, they're staggeringly white. And in the wake of 12 Years a Slave winning Best Film last year, people have suddenly got up and noticed this. However, the problems with the Oscar nominations go far further than them merely being whitewashed. I mean, think of this. In the Best Director list, we have Wes Anderson for Grand Budapest Hotel, Alejandro González Iñárritu for Birdman, Richard Linklater for Boyhood, Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher, and Morton Tilden for The Imitation Game. Now, when I look at that list, the thing that strikes me is that it's all male. Now, this perhaps shouldn't be a surprise when you think that 90% of the directors' branch of the Academy is both male and white, but it tells you something important about the Oscars. In fact, until Catherine Bigelow won the Oscar for Best Director for The Hurt Locker, no woman had ever done so before. That means that for the first 80-something years of the Academy's history, they had decided that every single best film in every single year had been directed by a man. When Steve McQueen won the Best Picture Oscar for 12 Years a Slave, on which he was named as one of the producers, he became the first black filmmaker ever to do so. And it gets worse. In the entire history of the Oscars, as I've pointed out before, no film presented primarily in a language other than English has ever won the Oscar for Best Picture. That's why we have the foreign language film category. And no animated feature has ever won the Oscar for Best Picture. That's why we have the Best Animated Feature category. When I look at the Oscar nominations, I ask, where is Jennifer Kent, writer and director of The Babadook, my favourite film of last year? Where is Amma Asante, director of Belle, which received such rapturous applause when it opened in the middle of the year? And, indeed, where is Gillian Flynn, who adapted her own novel, Gone Girl, for the screen, but is notably absent from the screenplay category, which, once again, is suspiciously male? When it comes to the Oscars, you need to remember this. When Hattie McDaniel became the first African-American ever to win a performing Oscar for her role in Gone with the Wind, in order to make her way to the stage to get the award, she had to leave the segregated seating area in which she was sitting. Whichever way you cut it, the Oscars have never been forward-looking. The only surprise about how male and how whitewashed they are this year is that anyone is surprised at all.
It is unacceptable that they use their power to keep us voiceless. Those that have gone before us say no more.